Joining us now is the Ukrainian ambassador to the United States, Oksana Markarova. Madam Ambassador, thank you for joining us again this morning. It is day 100 of this war since Russia invaded Ukraine. And certainly there's fierce fighting in the east, but the Ukrainian resistance has been truly remarkable, has captured the global imagination. But there's a lot of questions now, and we don't know when it will be, but how this war will end, whether it's months from now or longer. Is there any scenario, and this is a growing question in many European capitals, where your government, the government of Ukraine, will be willing to trade for peace by giving up some territory to the Russians?
Good morning, and thank you for having me, although good morning is the greeting that we rarely use in Ukraine. Yes, today is 100 days of this war, which actually lasts for 8 years. And Russia attacked us for the first time in 2014 and illegally occupied Crimea and parts of Donetsk and Lugansk. And for 8 years, they have been preparing for this. Now, for 100 days, the full-fledged brutal war with all the war crimes, with unimaginable destruction returned to Ukraine. And we resist for 100 days. And not only our brave armed forces, not only our brave president, who from the day one led the nation into this war to defend our homes, our loved ones, our identity, our freedom, our democracy, all the values that America is built on, values that are very important for us, for Ukrainians. And even though it has been very hard, even though these battles that we have now are more difficult than even the battles for Kiev or the battles that we saw at the beginning, we will not surrender. And unfortunately, all these calls for giving up the territories to reach peace, those are calls for surrender. And I'm very glad that these calls we do not hear here in the United States, because US, I mean, everyone here, from administration to Congress on a strong bipartisan basis to ordinary Americans, understand that you cannot trade values and principles for illusion of peace. Because again, if we do not win, peace will not return to Ukraine. In the territories which Russia will occupy, they will be torturing, murdering people, they will be killing Ukraine, and they will simply be preparing for another attack. So we will fight.
So, Madam Ambassador, just in recent days, Washington approved yet another military aid package, which includes some longer-range missiles. Right now, is Ukraine getting what it needs from the rest of the West?
Well, we're very grateful to the U.S. and the support that U.S. has been able to quickly deliver from the beginning of this phase for this 100 days, but also before that, because we had cooperation with the U.S. and strategic partnership before this 100 days. And, you know, everyone from administration to Pentagon to Department of State to Congress that was able to adopt 2 supplementary budgets already during this 100 days has been very much needed and very appreciated by Ukrainians. So do we have everything we have? No, because we are facing a very, you know, strong and the enemy which outnumbers us. But we have a lot from the United States, and also U.S. has rallied other allies. We see how U.S. put together this coalition of more than 40 countries that meet regularly now and discuss how they can help us together with the U.S. And it's not only weapons, it's also sanctions and financial support to us. Everything is important.
Madam Ambassador, Sam Stein, the White House editor of Politico, is here and has the next question for you.
First of all, thank you for joining us. We are on the precipice of a global food crisis that is owed in part to Russia's blockade of Ukrainian wheat export in the Black Sea. I am wondering 2 questions. One is there a separate diplomatic track to resolve the blockade and allow those wheat exports? And if not, are there alternate routes to get that wheat out of Ukraine to potentially prevent this global food crisis from occurring?
Thank you for this excellent crisis. Yes, Russia creates a lot of crises and is a source of threat not only to Ukraine, not only to global security, but now to food security. because they have blocked our ports, because they are stealing our grain and trying to target also the storages in Ukraine. So many countries which rely on grains and sunflower oil and other products from Ukraine, because I want to remind that Ukraine is a breadbasket, not only of Europe, and we are peaceful bread growers. This is something that we are very good at, and this is something that we like to do. So right now we are doing everything possible and sometimes impossible to ship as much as we can through alternative routes, through the western border, through other alternative routes. But unfortunately, they will not be able to replace fully what we can do through our Black Sea ports. We also are talking to pretty much everyone to see if any diplomatic solution or any hybrid solution will be possible. Anyone would be willing to put pressure on Russia, if not for the sake of Ukraine, but for the sake of the world, to unblock what they're doing in the Black Sea and allow this food to be shipped. But also, with all the weapons that we receive, and that's why we ask for more weapons, we will be not only willing, but very glad to unblock the Black Sea, like we did with the flagship Moskva and with others, so that there are no Russian ships there, and then we can return to shipping our grain so that people actually can have food.
And that food shortage about to become a dominant storyline out of this war. There's no question there. Ambassador Oksana Markarova, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it. And coming